Hey, well, welcome to the Insight Line of the AHRK Path. I'm here today with Joel Clelland, and we have an amazing opportunity to share life with you. And really, that's what we do on the AHRK Path, is we make a lifestyle choice of better choices. And Joel and I are a testimony to the fact that there are better choices you can make. And we only know that because we've had to make better choices, because we've made wrong choices and we've gone, I'm not going to do that again. Well, today we're going to unpack the topic of unmet expectations. And in life, if you're going to be in a relationship with people, you are going to have unmet expectations. In life, if you are going to have a job, a job, and you are going to attempt to fulfill other people's expectations, guess what? You are going to have unmet expectations. If you have hopes and dreams and desires and goals, which I hope you do, because that is a life-giving experience, you're going to have unmet expectations, because life happens, and the natural ebb and flow of life in this world is not an upward motion. It's actually an erosion. It's a deterioration. I mean, things naturally in this age are falling apart. I mean, most of us just kind of believe that about our health, and Joel and I might talk about our health and the fact that we were falling apart, and yet we could make some changes, some adjustments, some movements, and then we could restore our health. And yet, if we didn't, it would be an unmet expectation of, oh, I thought I would be younger longer. That's not true. But here's the hope today. The hope is that there is life above the line. And above the line versus below the line is really about a mindset of abundance, of hope, of understanding and curiosity, to get really engaged in the fact that unmet expectations are not the determining factor of the quality of your life. I'm going to let that sink in again. Unmet expectations are not the determining factor of the quality of your life. We all are going to have at some level an unmet expectation that's going to repeat. It's going to happen. Now, what we're going to unpack today is there is a choice about coming above the line and finding a breath of fresh air, and having a resiliency and an ability to recognize that just because it's not going the way I thought it would go, that does not determine the quality of my life. On the AHRK Path, we like to invite you to recognize that life below the line is where you're stuck. Life below the line is where you are caught up in situations that feel like dread, disappointment, the sorrow of feeling the sense that the suffering's never going to go away. I just never thought it would turn out like this. We've got dear friends that have gone through really terrible divorces. It's taken some of them out. It's liberated other ones. And now here we go, well, that was never the intention. Divorce is never the expectation on day one of I do. It's just too messy and not worth the energy and effort. So an unmet expectation can show up in anybody's life at anybody's time. We're not going to go down the path of solving any of yours or ours. But what we're going to do is show you the principles, the opportunities to discover the patterns that say, you know what? No matter what's going on, there is a path forward. Welcome to the AHRK Insight Line. Welcome, Joel Clelland.
Thank you.
My friend.
Yes.
How are you today?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Glad to be here with you.
Now, when Joel says he's excellent, it actually, I ask myself, is it excellent because things are going excellent in Joel's life, or is it excellent because Joel chooses excellence every day?
It's the second one. It's the second one.
Which is why it's easy for me to invite Joel here today, because Joel, is life perfect?
Absolutely not.
No. Are you perfect?
No.
No. Short answer.
Can
no.
I share something about that? I have a friend who's a classical guitar player,
Yeah.
and he said that he has moments of perfection.
Ooh.
I like to tap into that. Where can I have moments of perfection?
Moments of perfection. Here's my moment of perfection. Lord, forgive me. And in that brief moment, there is a cleansing reality in my life that goes, it's been washed to snow. I am set free. And then I have another thought. And either I have to go back and try to find the first one, Lord, forgive me.
It's humbling regardless. It's humbling.
Unmet expectations are simply an awareness of a desire. And today, what I wanna restore is the fact that desires and dreams are vital to your sustenance in life. When you give up on your dreams, when you give up on those desires, you're shrinking and you're letting the light grow dim. But yet, if you have dreams and desires, you're probably going to run into some unmet expectations.
It's true.
Joel, have all of your dreams and desires come true?
Not yet.
Not yet. And yet, have you given up on them?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Sometimes there's a recalibration.
Mm-hmm.
There's an
Or a
adjustment, a reset. So let's get into a little bit of Joel and my story to invite you today to understand who we are, that we are not simply speaking out of the place of, well, we arrived and it sure must be tough for the rest of you. We're speaking today from the trench, from the place of the journey.
Always and every day.
Joel, we've been in relationship at least 5 years and maybe a little bit longer.
Maybe
I'm not quite sure.
little longer, I think.
Somewhere in there. So I knew it was at least 5.
Absolutely.
Because it was 2 years ago that you had lost weight and you were in a transition phase of work and moving in different directions. And you had this momentum about you. Talk to me about that momentum phase, the alignment. What was that moment of life like? In that place where it wasn't as a whole lot of unmet expectation in that moment.
No, not in that moment. For anyone who studies flow
Mm-hmm.
and getting into that zone where everything seems to be working out.
Yeah.
You're driving down the street and you're hitting all the green lights.
Yeah,
I was hitting all the green lights for a period of many months.
absolutely. It was fun to watch.
I was developing ideas. I was creating jobs for myself. I
Mhm.
was moving into new sectors and businesses because I was in flow.
Mm-hmm.
They were all green lights. I think when you're in a situation like that, it's hard to see that, you know what, this might not continue forever.
Yeah.
The gravy train, if you will, may not continue forever. What else is there? And if it doesn't continue, what do I do next?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do next?
And today, what we want to do is we want to liberate you from creating disappointment. Okay. Unmet expectations does not have to equal disappointment. Sometimes what we have to recognize is, as we're on this journey, how do I enjoy flow? How do I recognize there's a lot of things in alignment right now? My thoughts, my feelings, my attitudes, they're aligning and it's flowing in such a way that I feel like I'm on top of my game. And yet, when that stops flowing, I want to invite you today to recognize it doesn't mean you did something wrong. It doesn't mean you screwed it up. Because that's where I was at just a second ago. When am I in a place of perfection? I'm asking for forgiveness.
Can I share a little bit about that?
Please, go ahead.
One of the things I think we discussed a lot on this program,
Mhm.
and you and I together, is community.
Yes.
And community is not one. It's not one person. One
Yeah.
person doesn't make community. It takes at least 2.
At least.
And everybody has their own unique desires and dreams and choices. And those impact us to one degree or another
Mm-hmm.
as we let them. With that in mind, we can continue to move down that path where we say, hey, you know what? It's all green lights, but just understand that you might get a yellow or a red periodically. And you got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
How do I navigate that?
It makes me think of the old proverb, and it's out there on social media, but I've heard it long before that. I think it's older than social media. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And sometimes in our seasons of fast, it feels like we're doing everything
It's
right.
all me.
Look at me go. Look what I'm doing, and look how necessary I am. And you can go fast alone. But if you're going to go far, you're not going to go alone. You're going to go in community. And really, that's what we're bringing up today is, how do you sustain community? And why is community so important to overcoming unmet expectations, when at the same time, sometimes community can be the greatest source of unmet expectations. I thought you were going to do this. I had hoped we could achieve that.
I thought we had a symbiotic relationship.
I don't know if I'm going to touch that one. But it is a joy to know that community can stand the test of time. And actually what we find is that true healing happens in community. So as we look at the AHRK path, there's A for acknowledge, H for healing, R for restoration, and K for kingdom. And kingdom is all about celebration. The H and the K, they happen in community.
Mm-hmm.
The A and the R, they are the places of acknowledgement and growth that is like, oh, I've got to work on me. When we have blind spots, we're not acknowledging.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have blind spots, if somebody's trying to, ever had anybody try to unveil your blind spot, Joel?
I hope they do.
That's because he has awareness.
I hope they do.
Here's how people unveil blind spots. They poke you in the eye.
That's true.
Did you see this coming?
Boom.
Oh, no, you didn't see it. It was a blind spot.
I thought it was over here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
A is acknowledgement of blind spots. R is acknowledgement that I can build and grow.
Mm-hmm.
H and K are all about being in community, and true healing happens in community. True celebration happens in community.
Mm-hmm.
So Joel, what do we want to talk about today about unmet expectations? How have you learned to share with us to be excellent? As I said that, I go, oh my gosh, we're in Bill and Ted's world now.
Excellent.
I knew you could go there with me. We're in San Dimas. It's good.
Absolutely.
That's
San Dimas-
righteous.
San Dimas High School
Anyway,
football rules.
Enough on that. The unmet expectation. It's just there.
I think one of the things that's helpful,
Mhm.
because we'll use that term helpful, when leaning into excellence is surrounding yourself with people who are choosing the same path.
Mm.
They're choosing to have the hard conversations with themselves. They're choosing to break themselves down so they can build themselves back up.
Yep.
They're taking an inventory of, what do I already know? Where can I get better?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the martial artists, after 10,000 kicks, then they're like, you know what? I still need to continue
I
kicking.
have 10,000 more to do
I'm
today.
considered an expert now, but
Yeah.
now I need to keep kicking, keep
Mhm.
kicking. Who can I surround myself with that will help me become better?
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. And then the accountability piece.
Yeah.
Again, we can't have accountability without community.
Let me just give you an insight from my perspective as we're on the insight line about what is true accountability. There's a concept of accountability that says I am going to hold you accountable, and in doing so, we create community. But all of the onus or all the responsibility falls on me for your choices in your life.
Right. And I still have choices.
And you have choices. And so for me, I invite you to shift the way you look at an accountability as having somebody in your life that you give an account to. So if I give an account to Joel for my choices, what my account is my responsibility and your willingness to listen. Rather than a very common approach to accountability is, hey, will you be my accountability partner so I don't make any mistakes?
It's a strange.
It's
a strange strategy.
No. What am I agreeing to? Anyway, so accountability is absolutely essential. I just wanted to drop that in there as we find, because here's why: unmet expectation. I thought you were my accountability partner. You're supposed to know when I'm going to do something wrong and then hold me accountable, right?
Rather than provide feedback and maybe even uncover those blind spots, which I think comes through the process of a really healthy mentorship or partnership.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one of the things that Joel and I have found in the journey is he can give me an account of his choices and I can give him an account of my choices. And there's not blame and accusation in there like, well, that was a stupid choice.
We already know if it was stupid or not.
Remember, I'm giving an account
I'm listening.
of a choice that I've made
Mhm.
so that I can possibly move into a place of greater ownership. We're giving you all the answers here. If you didn't catch that, these are all
Make
the
sure
answers.
You're taking notes.
So as I can move into a greater ownership of my choices, then this unmet expectation is not me. This is, if I own my choice, if I own where I'm at, so if I'm in a job place that I chose and then the job no longer meets my expectation, rather than blaming the job, blaming the boss, blaming the community, blaming the economy, what I can scroll back and give an account to is I made a choice to be there.
Mm-hmm.
How did I learn, grow, and become a better person in the midst of this situation?
Yeah.
This is how we build resiliency. This is how we build persistence. This is how we put ourselves in a place of excellence.
And I would say by having an accountability partner, it helps us be stronger.
Yes.
There's a gentleman I follow on social media, and he put this out a number of months ago. We need to share what we did in the past, the good and the bad,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can grow. And it doesn't necessarily need to be all public,
Yeah.
but we should have an accountability partner so we can say, you know what, I don't know how to get past this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to interact with this. I don't know where to grow from here. I don't know where to grow from here. I need your feedback.
Yeah.
And if it's not you, do you know somebody who can give me that feedback that I need to grow from here?
So where do you want to grow from here? Here is the present moment. Here is right now. How long has it been since an unmet expectation has consumed your life? Just put a timeline. We got different chats, whether you're on AHRK, whether you're joining on my personal page, or whether you're in the AHRK community, and maybe you're picking this up and connecting it to Joel as well. How long has it been since an unmet expectation has derailed you? Where you go, that's not what I was expecting. The more relationships you have, the shorter your timeline. It really is going to be true, because as humanity shows up, we each show up in our lack of perfection, and I highlight that because a pursuit of excellence is not a pursuit of perfection. In fact, when you are perfect, there is no need to improve. Think about it that way. If I'm perfect, I'm no longer needing to improve.
That's actually the easiest path and makes the least impact, I would say.
Say more about that.
When we feel like we've arrived,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to do anything anymore. We retire from life, so to speak.
Yeah.
Remember that one of the definitions for retire is not this, extended weekend or time in the sun where you get to do whatever you want. One of the definitions of retire is to put out of use. Be put out to pasture.
Yeah, you're done making a contribution.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service. You're now out of service.
Yeah, and I never want to be retired.
Amen.
In that way. I believe that we can continue to grow and make an impact throughout the course of our entire lives. If I have a breath, what am I going to use with that breath? If I have another day, how am I going to use that day? Why am I still here? And if I don't know, I need to get to the bottom of that.
And not arriving at that place of saying, I'm done.
Never.
I want to encourage you today. That's what the AHRK path is all about. It is a lifestyle path of better choices. Whether that means you're 20 and you're debating with a relationship and is this the one? Whether you're 45 and going, is this career path working for me? Is it too late? Have I invested too much time, energy, and effort in one thing? Or whether you're 65, 75 going, what's left? Have I fulfilled what I was on this earth to do? And the answer is, until you're no longer on this earth, you have not fulfilled everything you're on the earth to do.
Where else can I contribute? Before we got on here, we were talking about family.
Yeah.
We start there. We start contributing there. We start having accountability partners there. And then we branch out from there. We ever get to a point in our lives where we're like, we're not sure. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do next. I'm not sure where I need to serve or help or provide accountability or feedback. The wonderful thing about this planet is there's about 8 billion people. We're never going to run out of opportunities to serve. We're never going to run out of opportunities to build community and reinforce and engage with people. Never.
So, Joel, I want to transition and give anybody who's following along with us, how do you know if you're living into unmet expectations? If unmet expectations are defining your next steps. So the goal here is to not allow an unmet expectation to define you. Your past is not a defining experience in your life, or it is.
Right. And his Melda had a couple of really good comments.
Love that.
From before the,
Mm-hmm.
if we want to go fast, we can go alone. We want to go long. We want to make a larger difference, a bigger impact. Obviously, we're doing that in community.
Yeah.
And
there are daily unmet expectations.
Leaning into excellence is daily,
Yeah.
isn't it? It definitely is a daily.
So Joel grabbed
choice.
your daily comment. I'm going to get there. And I love it because it's so apropos to what we're talking about. How do you know if unmet expectations are defining your next step? Meaning you're operating from a below the line posture and going, below the line is not wrong. It's not bad. It's just a place of, often it's a place of denial, being stuck. There's nothing I can do about it. And denial is the very thing that is the anchor point of an unmet expectation is, oh, I don't have any unmet expectations. I mean, if that's your answer, how long has it been since you had an unmet expectation? I don't know that I've ever had an unmet expectation. You've been living below the line for a long time. And I'll just call you out on that, not because I'm talking to you personally, but because below that line in that lack of unmet expectations is actually a fear of being let down.
Casey, would you say that there are elements of futility and mediocrity in that mindset as well?
Futility and mediocrity.
Well, futility, I've given up.
Yeah.
And then mediocrity, this is what I've resigned myself to.
This is what it is, and I'm just going to really go through the motions. And I kind of touched it before. If you are a dreamer, if you have desires in you, if you set goals and lead from a desire to make a difference in the world, you'll have unmet expectations. This is really what we want to do. I want to take away the fear of unmet expectations. And I want you to begin to recognize unmet expectations mean that you are attempting to make a difference in the world.
Mm-hmm. There's the positive side.
Yeah.
A lot of times we look at the negative first when an expectation is not met.
Life is not playing out like I hoped it would. Well, thank God that you had hope. Now, don't lose your hope in an unmet expectation. Don't let that shortcoming define what you're capable of. Don't decrease the goal, increase the effort. And recognize that you have now gained so much in learning resiliency because failure is not futile. It's also not final. Great quotes on Winston Churchill for that. But that success is this daily practice of getting back up one more time than you get knocked down. And our ability to recognize that leads us to excellence.
Daily, like Esmelda said. Thank you, Esmelda. That's the word for the day.
So here's 3 indicators that unmet expectations are weighing heavy on you. They're just a burden and it's weight, and that weight is what holds us down. The first one is blame. When blame is quick to your tongue, well, this happened because, and blame is external. You can point at it. It wasn't my fault. It was so and so. You know what? The weather, the flight. If you've flown lately, you've been dragged below the line. That's how it's not a problem, but when you get to the point going, well, there's nothing I can do about it. That's actually a below the line indicator, because blame is coming up and it's an unmet. I was expecting to arrive at my destination at this time and at this place and in this way, and now I'm not. I have an unmet expectation. Now, do I get stuck there? Or do I find a way to take responsibility? I booked a cheap flight at the last possible time. And you might say, no, I booked an early flight in this. I'm on the rabbit trail of the flights just because I flew recently. And we got stuck in an airport for 3.5 hours. Got home at 3 a.m. and I had a 6 a.m. meeting. Am I stuck? Or do I set an alarm? I take responsibility for my commitment was to extend my vacation to the latest possible moment with the best price flight and I still made it home, but I don't have unmet expectations about what I'm responsible for. Anyway, excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Blame is an indicator that you are in unmet expectations and it's rooting you. A second one is denial. Or not denial. Let's go to denial third. Excuse. Joe, what's your best excuse?
I'm low on bandwidth.
Ooh, that's even complicated. There's no metric on that.
That's stolen as well.
That is an
aren't the best ones stolen?
Oh, that
from
is
someone else.
All right, this was not for you to steal.
I'm low
that.
on bandwidth.
Just low on bandwidth right now. Own that.
I'm going to be out of town.
I'm going to be out of town. Thank you for thinking of me. Right now, I've got a lot going on. Yeah. Excuses.
It's not in the budget right now.
You either have good excuses or you have good results.
Right.
And my invitation for you is to recognize that they're both good. You have good excuses or you have good results. Which one are you crafting with more intention?
Right.
To be really intention about a good result, an outcome that you desire, is where you learn and you grow and you gain so much more.
Yeah, you mentioned an adage earlier.
Yeah.
Another one that's relevant is, if you really desire, you will find a way.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will find an excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, when you have the right how, no, when you have the right why, every how is doable. I shifted it from somebody else. I don't know. We're just
time and energy.
Time and energy. And in my opinion, time and energy are both a constant. Means I can't create time and I can't create energy, but I can channel them. I can direct them. As we talked about flow in the earlier part of this time, what flow is that time and energy are moving in my favor. And I've done something to align where I'm at so that time and energy are like the banks of the river, and I found my sweet spot. For me, the AHRK path is acknowledgement and kingdom are the banks of the river, and I'm moving very quickly. When the banks of the river are high, I have a lot of movement around healing and restoration. It's repeated. I heal, I restore, because I'm constantly acknowledging and celebrating my belief systems. That's a whole book, but it's a beautiful one. So we looked at blame, we looked at excuse. The last one is denial. We touched on it briefly.
It's not just a river in Egypt.
It is not a river in Egypt. We are so punny. Denial is this understanding of, you know what? It wasn't my responsibility.
It didn't even happen.
No.
It wasn't there.
It's simply escaping a current reality. What are you talking about? I never said I would do that. I don't have unmet expectations. I've just lowered my standard to the point that I think the world sucks and people are going to keep letting me down, so I don't believe in them anymore.
That doesn't help build community.
Man. And if you're there right now, it's okay that you're there right now. When you're in this point, it's best to acknowledge it. I have lost my faith and my trust in humanity. I no longer believe in myself. I'm not sure that I'm capable of doing anything positive in this world. And I just want you to know, Joel can answer for himself. I have thought all those things.
Me too.
I have been
and written them down.
and written them down. And when I'm in those places, this is what we've also talked about. I have to own those things. I take responsibility for them, that I am just feeling in the doldrums and the dumps of life. All right. But I can be accountable to others. Hey, Joel, we grab coffee?
Lifeline.
If you don't have that community, I'm just going to tell you, and this is another, I'm going to speak directly. It's because you don't want it.
Or you don't know it's possible.
Yeah.
And it is possible. Remember, 8 billion people.
But
make your list.
And if you want it, here's why I say, if you want it,
reach out to them.
We're on social media. Our names are in the top of this. You go look up Joel Clelland, go look up Casey Cox.
We're easy to find.
We are very easy to find. And I'm probably easier to find along the AHRK path than Joel, but guess what? He's my friend. So you go, friend of Casey's named Joel. I tell you what, you want to have some encouragement in your life, you want to have some humor in your life, just follow Joel on Tuesdays. And then again on Fridays.
That's right. Happy Friday, Junior, by the way.
Thank you. That's Thursday because I follow Joel. You need people who bring the light side of life. And that's both the light, like the shining light. That's also light, like lighten up.
And give yourself a break. Cut yourself some slack. Don't white knuckle life. Let the energy and time and experience flow into and through you, and be actively engaged in it.
Yeah.
And don't forget to love yourself.
It's really okay.
Love yourself, care about yourself.
Yeah, it's okay if you have unmet expectations about yourself. Turn around and go, but I can love myself right where I'm at. I thought I would be. That's an unmet expectation. If it's taller, well, now start loving yourself for who you are. If it's healthier, start pursuing a path of making some adjustments. Joel and I have a long history of adjustments in our health. I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and I keep doing that until you find something that is sustainable, that works. Mm-hmm. You look great, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
Do you feel as good as you look?
I feel pretty good.
I'm going to follow up with that.
Accountability.
Folks, the AHRK path today is a gift. It's a gift for you. I want to give you a gift. I want to send you this card. This is what I use as a card to remind me that unmet expectations are here every day. It's just the acronym I gave you today in our show. It's OAR, O-A-R, is ownership, accountability, and responsibility, as things that will pull you up above the line. Below the line, we get stuck in bed. That's blame, excuse, and denial. There's declarations for each of these that you can read these declarations. I actually gave you the declaration of denial. How do I know I'm in denial? When I ignore my role and responsibility in order to escape my current reality. You go, oh, am I there? I'd love to send this to you. If you're following along, just tag and go send it to me. I will message you personally. I do need your shipping or mailing address, but no cost. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to invest the envelope and the stamp, and I'll send it to you because we need something that we can hang on to.
A go-to.
A go-to. What can leverage me out of my stuckness? Relationships. So let's build a relationship. What do you want to wrap us up with today?
My dear mother.
Yes.
Love her to death. She's still alive at 75. Was mom 76? 75. When I was getting ready to come on this program, I remembered a story from my childhood. I was about 3 years old, maybe 2, when she got this for me, and I had it above my bed, an image above my bed till I was about 5 or 6. It was embroidered. It was a picture of a little boy with a cowboy hat and a bandana and a stick and a toy horse head. And the message was, don't worry, God isn't finished with me yet. Don't worry, God isn't finished with me yet. And at 50, I know that to be true.
Did you ride that little pony stick around?
I did, because I did have one. I didn't have the one from the picture, but I did have another one. But
did you ever fall off that pony stick?
Oh, all the time. But I got right back up.
You get right back on. That's the encouragement today. So if you're watching live with us, I see Robert and Hesmelda. I'm going to get these to you. If you are not watching live, you caught the recording, still put it in there. Message me. Tag my name in it and say, Casey, send it to me. I will send you that card. I'll be following up with the two of you for sure. But by all means, be blessed. And to be blessed is to step into a place of curiosity and come out into the openness to say, I'm willing to receive. And that place, when you don't know what you're going to get, anything you get is above your expectations. That's the flip today. How do I step into a place that everything lifts my expectations because I wasn't weighed down, but I was open and curious that life can improve at any moment. And when I choose it, I increase the likelihood that I can choose it again. Thanks for joining us today on AHRK Insight Line about unmet expectations. Live above the line and live a better life. Take care.